Worrying that Joe Dirt was going to be a glass child used to keep me up all night long. And when she was probably 11 or 12, I read an article where I started to be like, I've got to make sure this never happens to her. Like, I don't want this to be her reality. So things that I started doing was making sure that she was very heard and very seen in our house, even when there was chaos, even when Joe Pesci was making a mess and she wanted to say something to me, and where it's so much easier to be like, hold on and go deal with this, I would just let the mess happen because it can be cleaned up. And I would just listen to her. What does she have to say? Even if it was something so mundane as talking about what was going on at school, even though that could have waited, I listened to her. We take one trip a year, just the three of us, so that we can do something that we can't do with Joe Pesci, because the reality is she can't go on every vacation. Some vacations aren't made for her, so we take a vacation that Joe Dirt chooses, the three of us, once a year, so we get to spend that quality time with her, making memories with just her. Also, we do stuff during the year, like once to twice a month, or maybe every 2 months, just depending on everybody's schedule. And we just go and we spend time with her. What does she want to do? We're going to go do that. We're going to go do that. We're going to pay attention to her. And what's so funny is Joe Dirt always says, you know what? I really wish Joe Pesci was here, because it's hard, because we want that alone time with her, but she still wants her sister to be with her. But we make sure also she has her own therapist, so she has someone else to talk to. And just recently, what we've added in is family therapy, and that has helped us tremendously to have another line of communication and somebody else sitting there listening to all of us and able to really navigate this process, because it's very hard not only parenting a child with a disability, but having a sibling with a disability. And so us being able to have that line of communication and somebody able to step in and say, hey, you might not realize that this is what you're doing, or you might not realize this, because mine and Bradley's goal is to have the longevity of our relationship with Joe Dirt. So we put in a lot of effort, probably more honestly than she wants. She probably wants us to pay attention to her a little less, but I just think it's so important that she makes sure, like when she grows up and gets older, she can say, I know my parents were going through a lot, but I always was seen, I always was heard, and I always was loved. So that's what we're currently doing. And I hope that this jumble of words I just said made sense.